Conditions of equilibrium is derived from statics of a structure. Okay, now what do you mean by static? It means when the structure is at rest, it is not moving. Now from statics we know that a structure is in equilibrium when it remains balance of forces and movement. When all the forces and movements are balanced, that type of a structure is called as an balanced structure, or it is called as a structure in equilibrium condition. Now here we have generally three axes, that is your x, y and z. In all these three axes, your all the forces and all the moments should be in equilibrium. That's why we have summation f. F stands for force and m stands for the movement, whereas the suffix x, y, z stands for the axis, in which axis we are dealing with. And summation is nothing but sum of all the forces in that direction. So summation fx should be equal to 0, fy, fz. Similarly, summation of all the movements in x direction should be equal to 0. Similarly, summation of all the forces in y direction and summation of forces in z direction should also be equal to 0. This you have learned in your elements of civil engineering. Next, we will be dealing with what is determinacy and stability. Determinacy means what? When you are applying the equilibrium conditions. Now, if there are different times where we take different equilibrium conditions. When it is a plane element, we take three equilibrium conditions. Okay, that is summation fx, summation fy and movement along z direction. So we will be considering three equilibrium conditions when we are dealing with a plane structure. When we are dealing with space structure, we will be having 6 equilibrium conditions. Now, what are these? Determinacy and stability. Determinacy, when all the forces in a structure can be determined strictly from the equilibrium conditions, that structure is referred as an statically determinate structure. Okay, when it can be either a space structure or a plane structure, when all the forces acting on that body is stabilized by your equilibrium conditions, then that type of a structure is called as a determinate structure. Next, we are having what is called as an stability. Okay, the unknown forces than the available equilibrium conditions are called as statically indeterminate. That means if the unknown forces, or you can say the reactions that are developed in a element is more than the available equilibrium conditions, that kind of a structure we will be calling as it as statically indeterminate structure. Now, when those unknown, or you can say extra equations are there, now those extra equations are called as compatibility equations. Okay, to solve those extra equations, we bring into an internal hinge, or we try and bring some continuity equations, or continuity of a slope, or continuity of deflection. That kind of equilibrium conditions are called as compatibility equations. So here it is stating that if a structure is statically determinate, the additional equations needed to solve for the unknown reactions are obtained by relating the applied loads and reactions to the displacement or slope at different points. These equations are referred to as compatibility equations, which must be equal to the number of degree of indeterminacy of structure. Okay, now this word degree of indeterminacy has come into picture. Now degree of indeterminacy means the number or the answer that we get after solving a problem for degree of indeterminacy, that is called as how many unknown reactions are required for that problem to be solved. Now let's go back to this. These are some of the equations that we use. Before this, let us have a view on this. Now, degree of freedom. Degree of freedom, or it is also called as kinematic degree of indeterminacy. It is a freedom to the rotation or movement at a particular joint. Now, I have given some of the member supports, that is a free supported element, a fixed support, a hinge, a roller. So, here I have given how many reactions are developed, and here I have given what is the degree of freedom for it. Now, when it is a free member, for each end, at each end, the number of reactions developed are 0. Therefore, the degree of freedom will be 3. How 3? Now, each end can move in x direction, y direction, and it can rotate in any direction it wants. That's why the degree of freedom is 3. Coming down to the fixed end, I am speaking about the fixed end over here. Now, here you are having 3 reactions developed. That is, it cannot move in x direction, y direction, or it can rotate. Okay, that's why I am having the reaction as 3. So, in which direction it can move? It cannot move in any of the direction. That's why the degree of freedom is 0. Now, coming down to the hinge. Now, this hinge, it has 2 number of reactions, that is in fx and fy, but it is free to rotate at this point. Wherever it is free, that we count it as a degree of freedom. Next, a roller support. Now, a roller is having only one reaction, that is in the y direction, but whereas this roller can freely move in x direction and it can rotate in the z direction. That's why the degree of freedom is 2. Okay. Next, coming down to linear and non-linear structures. Now, linear and non-linear structures are depending upon you can say depending upon the material and the geometry. Let us first see what do you mean by linear structure. Linear structure means if the material is undergoing the same amount of stress and strain. That is nothing but when the material experiences stress and strain relationship in a linearity. That is called as a linear structure. Okay. Next, non-linear structure. Non-linear structure means that the deformations are very large and those deformations cannot be brought back into the same geometry. That kind of a material is called as a non-linear structure. If the material does not have linear stress-strain relationship, or if the deformations are very large, the deformation so large that the change in geometry cannot be neglected. In this analysis of the structure, that kind of a structure is known as non-linear system. Non-linear systems are of two types: material non-linearity and geometrical non-linearity. Material non-linearity is due to variation in stress-strain relationship. You have learned in your song, you have your stress and strain diagrams where after a particular point, now that particular point, after a particular point, this is for your, on the x-axis you have the strain and you have the stress on the y-axis. After a particular point, now that point is called as upper limit of proportionality. After that, the stress and strain don't vary hand in hand. That is, a small amount of stress creates a huge amount of strain in it. Okay, that kind of variation we can call it as a non-linear variation in the material. Now coming back to what is geometrical nonlinearity is, whenever there is a change in dimension, that change in dimension is not proportional to the variation of the original shape and size. They are, that is, after a particular point, whatever the dimensions have been changed, they don't come back to its original shape and size. That kind of a nonlinearity is called as geometrical non-linearity. Okay, this was the theory part of your the chapter. In the next class, we will be dealing with your the problems part. Okay, thank you.